Welcome to my daily HR Metrics series by Nicolas Bebani. This isn't based on one small experiment. A team of researchers from the University of Florida, Wharton College of Business, and HEC Paris conducted a major meta-analysis published in the journal Personal Psychology. They combined 204 independent samples from 145 studies. The search covered research across different jobs, countries, education levels, and study design. They wanted to understand something we all experience. How do we form first impressions at work, and what happens after we form them? And this is where things get interesting. The researcher looked at different signals people use to form first impressions. Things like how someone communicates, how someone presents physically, and content the actual substance of what's written or said. You might expect the content to dominate their experience, their resume, what they're actually telling us, but it didn't. Communication cues had the strongest and most consistent relationship with first impressions, and content cues were weaker predictors of those initial impressions. Think about that for a moment. How something is communicated can shape our first impression more than what is actually being communicated. And yes, appearance also mattered. But I don't think the takeaway should be good looking people get better jobs. The research is more nuanced than that. Physical appearance is one of the cues people use when forming an impression, but communication cues were more consistent across contexts. The bigger problem is that we humans don't neatly separate everything. We don't always think 7 out of 10 for competence, 8 for communication, 6 for experience. Instead, the research suggests we tend to form a broader feeling. I like this person, or I'm not convinced. And that overall impression can color what comes next. And here's the part that should really interest HR people. These impressions don't necessarily disappear after the interview. Their influence weakens with time, but the research found first impressions remain associated with how people viewed one another more than a month later, and first impressions were associated with outcome including hiring, performance evaluation, and workplace relationship. Important nuance. The study doesn't prove that first impressions cause those later outcomes, but the relationships are strong enough that we shouldn't ignore them. So today's daily HR metrics is evidence first hiring rate, EFHR. The idea is simple. Take the number of candidates who were evaluated using the same structures, job relevant criteria, divided by all candidates evaluated and multiply by 100. Imagine you review 100 candidates. For 84, your hiring team can show that the candidate was assessed against predefined job relevant criteria. 84 divided by 100 multiplied by 100. EFHR equal to 84%. But I want to understand the other 16%. What happened there? Did evidence disappear? Did instinct take over? Did I really like them, become they are the best person for the job? The answer isn't to tell interviewers, stop having first impressions. We are human. That's unrealistic. Instead, design hiring so that our first reaction doesn't get the final vote. Use structures interviews, define the criteria before meeting the candidate, score evidence consistently, and where possible, involve multiple decision makers. Those are also among the practical recommendations highlighted by the researchers. Because structure doesn't remove humanity from hiring, it can make hiring fairer to humans. So next time someone leaves an interview and says, I just have a really good feeling about this person, don't ignore that feeling, but ask one more question. What evidence supports it? Because making a great first impression can matter, but getting a job should depend on more than winning the first minute. Remember also, behind every number is a person. See you tomorrow for another new HR metrics. For your daily dose of learning people analytics, make sure to like and follow my YouTube and like the page of Nicolas Bebani.